Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
And they embody what the school is about. It's about getting into hard situations and getting ourselves out. It's about working hard. It's about doing amazing things.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
It's Regional Friday, OB. Let's get stupid.
I'm already stupid. I'm stupid every day. And it doesn't matter what region either.
That's true, yeah.
I was stupid in Florida.
Awesome.
Were you stupid down in Costa Rica?
I was. I'll tell you about it in just a second.
Yeah.
Welcome into TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Garner's Jewelers. We're inside the Rollo Insurance Studio. I'm Nick Savage filling in for David Nuno. Olin Buchanan, obviously, to my right. And, I was going to say, OB, it's like you went on vacation, but you never saw the beach. Never got to go to the beach.
I saw it.
You saw it.
I saw it. Never touched it.
Never touched it. I was in Costa Rica for the majority of this week. I got to go on an awesome vacation with my family, so it was a lot of fun, and got to stay down at a resort, Las Catalinas, in Costa Vida. Or
nice.
Not Costa Vida.
Costa
Rica.
Costa Rica? I wonder if they have a Costa Vida in Costa Rica.
I didn't see one. Food there was amazing. And Franklin, met an amigo. His name was Franklin. He was awesome. He came up to me. I think I was wearing an A&M shirt one day, and he said, come up to me and said, hey, I just wanted to say, go Aggies. We had to teach him. It's Gig'em Aggies, but he's an adopted.
Well, we want him to go too. As well.
Absolutely. Go Aggies, Gig'em Aggies. So Franklin, hola mi amigo, pura vida.
Yeah, what he said.
Pura vida. That's like a general
I've been
greeting.
down there.
Oh, hey, he's a fellow Costa Rican.
Yeah, it was great. That is a great place to vacation. It's probably the best vacation I've ever had.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah. It was awesome. But enough about us, OB. Let's dive into this regional. We'll lead things off with baseball here today. We'll get your thoughts later on about kind of the final day of the spring meetings. Not much, like you said, really happened, but I want to get your overarching thoughts about it. But it's all about baseball today, OB. Taking on Lamar, 3 o'clock, SEC Network. Shane Sadeo gets the start. How you feeling headed into this one?
I feel good. I feel confident. Look, I know what this A&M team is capable of. The last time out, they didn't hit, but they are capable of putting 10 runs or more up there.
Yeah.
I know the pitching gets better in the play, but still, they've hit good pitching too. So I feel confident. This guy from Lamar, Chris Olivier, like Lawrence Olivier, Richard Zane told me, he's supposed to be really good. But it is against. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's against. What is that, Southland Conference?
Southland Conference. He's a Southland Conference Pitcher of the Year.
Yeah, so I'm not saying he can't be great at this level, but let's see. I feel pretty good.
His number's pretty good. 7-4 overall record, 2.66 ERA, 105 WHIP. Obviously, when the Aggies played Lamar earlier this year, they didn't see him. They play Tuesday games differently. But Shane Sadeo getting the start.
I've seen Sadeo pitch well. I've seen him struggle. I think I was looking up. I remember watching him against LSU, and he came out and had a pretty strong game. Almost 4 2/3, and I think he gave up 2 earned runs. Man, I take that. So I saw that Michael Early was saying he had so much belief in him and all this. So he's putting his actions, to what he's saying. So. We know Shane can get strikeouts. His issue has been keeping the ball in the yard, and someone told me that Lamar's not a real power hitting team, so maybe that works in A&M's favor.
Yeah, it'll be his 13th start this year, third career postseason start. It'll be the first time he's started a game since May 2nd against Auburn, which did not go very well. But yeah, Bronny on the baseball bunch was talking yesterday how Lamar doesn't really leave the yard very much. 38 home runs as a team this year so far. So that plays in A&M's favor, but we know how Bluebell Park can play sometimes with the weather. We'll see where the wind's blowing. I haven't looked at any forecasts or anything, so I'm not sure if they're expecting the south wind or not. But if I think it just comes down to if Sadeo can keep the ball in the yard and give you 5 innings of maybe 2-3 run baseball, you're in a really, really good spot.
If they're playing Kansas, I'd expect the south wind.
What's the joke there?
Oh, Kansas, they're known as people of the south wind.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There you go.
There you go. Learn something new every day.
I wonder if Kansas has a good baseball team. I don't even know.
Got the Royals.
Yeah, Kansas is hosting regional, the Jayhawks.
Well, I'll be dang.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I haven't been, especially the last week, paying much attention to baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, here, we can look at, there was a graphic put out there about the regionals difficulty ranked by different metrics, RPI and DSR, Diamond Sports Rating. That's the new one. A&M, third hardest in average RPI. The Lawrence Regional, funny enough, is the toughest.
The toughest.
And DSR, the College Station Regional, is the toughest by average DSR.
That's Lawrence, like Lawrence Olivier. Like, like Richard Zane was telling me.
Yeah.
I just thought, how often are we going to say Olivier and Lawrence in the same? I couldn't let it go. Couldn't let it pass.
I don't know where to go from there.
Okay, Kansas. Go to Kansas. Those people from the South win.
Yeah, but I guess all that to say, should be a difficult regional, but I think I heard Coach Ridley say basically yesterday, they're going to try to take it day by day, right? That's what you got to do.
You know, I'm very confident, but what was it? How many years ago? 6, 7, 8 years ago, A&M goes over to Houston as like I think a 3rd seed and wins it. I remember they beat Iowa really bad, and it was 2017. Gosh, 9 years. Okay, wasn't too far off. And then I think they hosted because Davidson beat North Carolina. You can't take anything for granted. I mean, hey, Lamar, that's a proud program. They may come in here and win it all. I don't think they will. But, you just can't overlook anybody. We all know this. When you get in tournament play, everybody's good.
We're going to talk a lot about how A&M will handle the pitching staff throughout the tournament. But to me, it's like, I was thinking about this morning. Basically going day by day is what they've kind of done all season long, isn't it? So
sometimes just inning by inning.
Yeah, the fact that we don't know what it's going to look like tomorrow, if they win or lose, and going forward, I mean, to me, it's just kind of a wash.
Do we know that Aiden Sims is ready to go?
That's the understanding.
He's going tomorrow, I bet.
I would imagine so, because if USC, which is, you'd expect them to beat Texas State, they're holding their ace until tomorrow, which is the Big Ten pitcher of the year. It's possible that A&M faces back-to-back conference pitchers of the year in back-to-back games, but we know this offense can kind of handle anybody.
They can, and so I expect them to be at their best.
Absolutely. Let's go around the room. I know a little early, but actually, we got some bills to pay, right? Before we do that,
got to pay them. So we are in the Rollo Insurance Studio.
This whole show is sponsored by.
Well, this is TexAgs Live.
Yes.
Which is brought to you by David Gardner's Jewelers.
It is. This hour
is the go hour. Is brought to you by the warehouse at CC Creations.
If people want to text us, where would we find those text messages?
Texas? Well, if you want to text us, you text us on the Catalyst Pure Performance Energy text line. That number is 979-693-1150. Now, magically, the very same number, you can call us on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending text line. Again, 979-693-1150. I think I need one of those catalysts, though.
Yeah.
I didn't get back from Florida until about 1 o'clock this morning.
Oh, man.
And So, hey, one of you guys over there, bring me a Catalyst. See if you can find an orange one. If you don't, just bring me another flavor. I need a boost. You can tell I'm kind of lethargic this morning.
Yeah, we as a staff hammer down those Catalysts. So I don't know how many are left for you, but we'll track one down. And normally we start the show, you and David, I should say, start the show right over there at the
Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
Yeah, but we're not allowed.
But the
I'm
Cool
not allowed to
Zone,
touch
the
it.
Cool Zone travels.
Oh wow!
Oh, here
What do
we go.
got here?
See these guys. What do we got? I got some grapefruit frost or pomegranate. I'll go with the
I'll take
pomegranate.
the other one. How about
Thank
that?
you.
I'll take the
Yeah,
other
I need a boost, guys. I'm sorry.
Man,
It's like Popeye and his spinach.
little ASMR with the drinking. Love it. So we'll go around the room now. We'll start behind the glass. Cade Bickham, who did a great job manning the ship while I was gone, allowed me to get some time off. Mr. Bickham, how are you this morning?
I'm doing pretty good. I got my coffee in me, so I'm a little souped up now as well.
Did you put some Catalyst in it?
I did not put any Catalyst in it. I don't think that.
What if Catalyst had a coffee
I don't know if that
flavor?
would play very well. Oh, if Catalyst had a coffee flavor, that would be interesting, OB.
I think if you put Catalyst in anything, it would taste good.
Yeah, perhaps it would.
What are your any thoughts, takeaways? Going into this weekend, Cade?
Well, I think that you guys mentioned it briefly. I think it's very interesting that USC is going to pitch backwards a little bit and go with Grant Govil to start Game 1 against Texas State. He has pretty good numbers himself. ERA under 3, WHIP at in the .8s, I believe. Batting average against below 200. So he should be a good. He'll be a good arm for Texas State to face. But yeah, saving Edwards for Game 2, I think it's the smart move for USC because if in the likelihood that they lose or win, he's either pitching in a win or go home or a win to go up to go to 2-0 and put themselves in the driver's seat to win the regional. So I think that's the smartest play for USC, especially given the fact that their offense isn't quite as potent as Texas State's or Texas A&M's.
Obi, I feel like A&M's in a good spot too. If the plan is to hold Aiden Sims for Game 2, kind of similar situation there.
Yeah, but that's what they've done all year.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what. I don't know if USC. I assume if that's their best pitcher, he probably.
I think he's been going on Friday night.
I will say this: that's going to be a great move by USC if it works. Those Bobcats are no joke now.
They can swing it.
They can swing. I watched them play the Aggies one night. They were from San Marcos. They
were Marcus.
They were Slam Marcus. That's right. Yeah. Those guys can hit it.
Let's go over to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center now. The director in training. We're about to have a trio. Big three, if you will. Reese Nygren's over at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Good morning, Mr. Nygren.
Good morning. How are y'all on this Friday?
We're great. Fantastic.
So would we all be okay if Michael Early's season ended the same way Mark Weaver's did?
Yes.
Okay, well, Mark Weaver is continuing that heater into the offseason. Mark Weaver and the Aggie women's tennis offseason started off with a bang as they added the 2025 Big 12 Player of the Year, Olivia Linser, Thursday afternoon. She won the Big 12 Player of the Year award as a UCF Knight, actually back in 2025, before transferring to Oklahoma State, where she was all Big 12 second team in singles, where she ranked as high as 119th. Coach Weaver on the signing of Linser said, "We are excited to announce the addition of Olivia to our program. The signing enables us to continue to strive to bring more and more championships back to Aggie land."
It's Olivia, not like Olivier.
Yeah,
but Olivia.
Olivia. We're changing things up ever so slightly.
Had Quinn been a girl, we were going to name Olivia was our girl name, but he wasn't.
Coach Weaver just keeps winning, doesn't he? That's all he does.
How do you know? I can't imagine how, if you're a great tennis prospect, women's tennis prospect, that you don't want to play for Weaver. First of all, he has the
hardware,
the track record, and then he's just such a good guy.
Yeah, his demeanor is just kind of so laid back, but I would imagine in the locker room or, whenever you're getting the pregame speech, I'm sure something flips.
He knows how to how to manage people.
Absolutely. Reese, what else you got for us?
So today, the Texas A&M men's golf team will begin their quest for their first national title since 2009 as they begin stroke play today in Carlsbad, California. First cut will come Sunday night to narrow the field down to 15 teams where match play will begin on Monday. Coach Corton will send senior Jaime Montojo, junior Chris Kruvas, junior Aaron Pounds, sophomore Wheaton Ennis, and freshman Shiv Parmar.
Now, Wheaton Ennis, he's the one that was really good.
Yeah,
last time.
He was really good. He finished second in the Bryan Regional just last week. So he
seems like his name ought to be reversed. Ennis Wheaton.
Ennis Wheaton.
But yeah, Wheaton Ennis.
Reese, did I hear you correctly? There's no seniors on Brian Corton's squad
There's
right now?
one.
There's one?
Jaime Montojo is the only senior on Brian Corton's squad.
That's good.
Wow. Okay, be good. Hey, it sounds like they're setting up for possible back-to-back national championships.
Obi, when's the last time you played golf?
Oh, God, I actually played golf.
Like played 18 holes of golf?
Never.
Never?
I was, Gabe Bach and I were invited down to the, for muster by the El Salvador Aggie Club.
Mm-hmm.
And Guayo Palomo, who was at that time, was he was the president of the El Salvador Olympic Committee.
Okay.
And they really showed us a great time. They took us to play golf on a course that was in a volcano.
That's awesome.
That had been, of course, the top of blown off years ago.
Yeah.
And so anyway, basically I was trying to dig back into the volcano because I was just, I'm just hacking up. But we only played 9 holes. We got to the 8th hole, and I'll be thanked if I didn't hit a shot that looked like it was Sunday at Augusta. It was just beautiful, and then they had a caddy and showed me, hey, you need to putt here, and I did, and I made it. I had a bogey. And then I did it. I was excited. And then I did it again on the 9th hole and got 2 bogeys. And I thought,
you were getting hot. You should keep going.
And then I started thinking about it. And I'm whiffing and I'm not hitting anything. But the point is, I saw why people are so, interested and want to play and love golf, because you get that 1 or 2 shots. And if I could just practice a little harder. I was out at Pebble Creek a couple of months ago. And I didn't play, but I watched my son and my friend Jeff Phillips and his son play 18 holes. Mm-hmm. So I've been on a course for 18 holes.
Yeah.
I don't want to go out there on a really nice course like that and, just dig divots.
Dig divots and break windows on the houses
or break
that
wind.
surround.
I don't want to do any of that.
I've broken a window before.
I've broken wind before.
Let's hit a break here, OB, and on the other side, we'll dive into some of your takeaways from the 2026 SEC spring meetings. But just a quick rundown of the show today. 9 a.m., or 9 o'clock hour, I should say. We'll have the baseball bunch in here. That's Ryan Brauninger, Richard Zane, Scott Clendenin. And then, of course, the 10 o'clock hour will be all Billy Liucci. So we hope you stick around for that. You're listening to TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Hey everyone, David Nuno here of TexAgs Live. I want to introduce you to the team at Holistic Planning. Got Jason Barber here, Taylor Pankratz, and also Paul Meredith. Jason, I want to start off with you. What really sets Holistic Planning apart from the others?
Yeah, so what makes us different is most financial advisors stop at investment management. On the other hand, Holistic Planning, we manage investments, taxes, and estate planning all on one team, all underneath one roof.
Now, Taylor, when everything is coordinated like that, it really helps the bottom line, doesn't it?
It really does. When your investments and taxes are working together, you stop leaving money on the table and keep more of what's yours.
Paul, Holistic Planning is trying to expand as well.
That's true. We just opened our Houston office, and we're looking for people who feel like their advisor isn't seeing the full picture, because that's exactly what we fix.
And Jason, there's other opportunities beyond that.
Definitely. If you're a financial advisor and you want to join the Holistic Planning team, we're looking to add 50 teams in the next 5 to 10 years. So check out holisticplanning.com/advisors.
All right, so if you want a team that actually coordinates everything, go to holisticplanning.com. Aggies, this one is worth it.
What's up, Ags? Marcel Reed here, and you're listening to the Go Hour with Nuno and OB on TexAgs Live.
I did a little research yesterday for maybe a story I'll do next week. And if you look at Marcel Reed, I'm not saying that Marcel's going to win the Heisman Trophy, get this right. But if you look at Marcel Reed's numbers last year and compare them to what the last 5 quarterbacks that have won Heisman Trophies did, Marcel's numbers are very favorable to what Fernando Mendoza did the year before he won the Heisman.
Okay, I was about to ask, is it the year before the Heisman?
The year before.
Okay, I got you, yeah.
Or what Joe Burrow did the year before he won the Heisman. Just something to think about. Doesn't mean anything. It's just those
trends.
Those that say, "Oh, Marcel Reed, he was a disappointment and all this." I'm like, well, it's not like he can't get better. And I give you 4 or 5 examples of how.
Exactly, and you don't know how he's going to look in Holman Wiggins' offense either.
That's right.
It's a good topic, OB. I'm glad you're taking us there. Nick Savage filling in for Nuno on the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. This is TexAgs Live, presented by David Garner Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. OB, just want to get your kind of overarching takeaways from the 2026 spring meetings. Yesterday, you were saying didn't expect much to happen yesterday, and you were right.
Yeah.
Not much happened at all. But just kind of, what do you think are the biggest storylines coming out of the meetings?
Well, obviously the biggest one was the bill that was introduced, the Protect College Sports Act.
Yep.
But Greg Sankey and Trev Alberts and Chris Del Conte and anybody else you want to talk to has all said, well, we haven't actually read the bill. Mm-hmm. We can look at AI and got the highlights to get an idea, what it's saying. But look, everybody you talk to just screamed out for the need for governance. We need governance, while also acknowledging that coaches will cheat until you put in some rules, and then when they found them be cheating, have severe consequences. They're acknowledging, yes, coaches will cheat. They will. If there's a way to cheat, they're going to. So you got to have governance to hold them accountable and give them severe consequences. But everybody echoed, we got to have some governance. But everybody knows that. The casual fan knows that. So I thought one of the most alarming things was said by Mike Elko. And Elko's a really smart guy, so I'm going to take him at his word. I don't know this, but he said at the current rate that they're paying athletes, that in 2.5 years, what you're paying college athletes will be more than what you're bringing in from the TV revenue.
Yeah.
And you're going, wait a minute. We've all heard it's an unsustainable model, but there it is laid out. How long it can be sustained. Now that doesn't. You say the TV revenue. That's not talking about how they're charging so much for tickets and then get a water on a September day at Kyle Field. That's not cheap, or parking and all those things. And they're advertising, that they do, but still. Most of your money, I think, comes from TV, and if you're not going to be able to cover what you're paying your athletes based on your TV money, then you got
big problems.
Yeah, you do have big problems. So I thought that was alarming.
Any better idea of what the SEC prefers in terms of playoff model? To me, it just seems like
they prefer, I believe, 16 teams. Okay. At least Greg Sankey does, and. But Greg Sankey was clear to say, look, we've never said we're anti-24. He said, we just said we're pro-16. Here's the deal, and I tried to put it in my story. Here's where the SEC balks about a 2014 playoff. Because if you have a 2014 playoff, all right, first of all, the calendar. Understand that January 1st is a sacred day for college football, always has been traditionally, and so they want that to remain an important day. I think they'd like to have the semifinals on New Year's Day, and then you play the national championship game a week or two later, and be finished with your season by mid-January. That's what they prefer. But if you have a 2014 playoff, that adds another week to the playoff, which then theoretically renders it impossible to have an open date for conference championship games. Yep. Well, the Big 12 doesn't really care about that, and the ACC doesn't really care, the Big 10 doesn't really care about it. But the SEC conference championship game generates between $80 and $100 million. So let's say $90 million. And they're saying, well, wait a minute, we're going to add 4 more games. I think that's what it'd be, 4 more, or let's just say 8 first round. But you already had 4 first round games last year. So, but we're gonna have 8 first round playoff games instead of our conference championship game, and it's that $90 million gets distributed among 16 teams. Well, is the money that this first round of playoffs, is it going to generate
the same amount? The
same amount to be distributed. So when you distribute among the 90 million or it might be 100 million, but let's say 90, that comes out to about $5.5 million for each school. Well, if you get whatever the playoff generates, that's going to be distributed among 138 schools. Now, not everybody's going to get the same amount probably, but still they're saying, hey, we just want to know, are we going to get the same amount or more? Is it going to cost us money to lose our conference championship game? And that's why they're saying we just need more information. We don't want to rush into this. So, when you put it that way, yeah, I understand. It was Trev that explained it. And that makes total sense to me. Plus, I just think college should have a conference championship game. I think it's important. But anyway, so that's why right now the SEC prefers 16 teams or is fine to stay with 12. Why they're skeptical or at least cautious about going to 24.
I didn't even know it was a thing to distribute the entire, the playoff money, like you just said, to every school.
It's going to go to 9 conferences or 10 conferences, however many conferences.
Okay,
so every conference, and then they distribute to their schools, right? And then there's Notre Dame.
Who gets
so they get, and the independents, but Notre Dame. So so you got to say, it's a bigger pie, but there's a lot more slices in it. Do I still get the same amount of pie?
Would it be possible?
I want my pie.
Would it be possible to limit that pot to just the conferences that participate in the playoffs?
I don't think so.
No one will
because
agree to
everybody, right, and everybody's on and that's why it brings us back to the whole thing of or the big school conferences going to get together and just break away.
Yep.
Because then they get all that money. They don't have to share it with the Sun Belt. And I'm not saying the Sun Belt's going to get the same amount as the Big Ten, but I don't know. But I guarantee you, Notre Dame's saying, "Hey, we're getting the same amount."
Yeah.
So that's the sticking point there. If you didn't understand why, I hope I explained it. At least that's one of. I'm sure there's some that just says, "Hey, how much are we asking from our athletes physically?" And they're already saying we're running out of money to pay them, and now they're going to say, "Oh, you need to pay us more because we've got to play more." But you say, how much more are you asking for us from the athletes physically? Because Kirby Smart has been even saying, it's tough enough playing a SEC schedule and then an SEC championship game, and then you go into the playoff. You see a team like Indiana, which everybody knows Indiana was the best team, no doubt about it. But they played 3 non-conference games that were cream puffs, and then let's just be honest, they played the Big Ten schedule. So you got to play. You got to play. Had to play. Ohio State, that's a tough one, and Oregon, okay, and Penn State gave you a close game, but then you also get to play Maryland. I don't know who their schedule is, but that Purdue, you don't want to have to. Those Boilermakers will beat you up.
They'll come after Minnesota because Matthew Dawson
Those
will
Golden
be here.
Gophers
Will be here to fight us over it. His brother
Minnesota?
goes there, so he's like an adopted Minnesota fan.
Rest my case.
Yeah. We'll hit a break here, OB. Got a few more football topics I want to tackle with you on the other side.
Is he bigger than Matthew? Well, hell,
his brother?
You're bigger than Matthew.
His brother, or
yeah.
I've never met him in person,
but he's got to be. I mean, there are people that make toys for Santa Claus that are bigger than Dawson.
Matthew, we love you. We miss you. Let's hit a break here, OB. We'll get to more college football on the other side. You're listening to TexAgs Live, presented by David Garner's Jewelers.
I wish I had Olin here for it because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal, or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. Zero sugar. I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy. designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going, you use this catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart? Packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in. Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner. Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Train harder, think sharper, pure results. It's Catalyst.
OB,
yeah,
I know you're a big Rolling Stones guy.
I am.
I'm with you on the Justin Timberlake.
It's not even anybody. The Mick Jagger debate is cooler.
Debate.
It's
Absolutely.
not even. It's not even. You know what? That debate really is like the Indiana Alabama game from last year.
Yeah, it's like that goes on David's cold takes highlight reel.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
David out, obviously. I'm Nick Savage filling in for David Nuno here on the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. This is TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner Jewelers inside the Rollo Insurance Studio. OB, a few more topics kind of spun off of the 2026 spring meetings, and I told you about this topic before the show went live. I was thinking about it yesterday. What are we going to be talking about, or what's going to be the biggest difference in college football this time next year? Because there's bills being introduced, conference realignment, playoff expansion. Every year it's something else. So What do you think will be the biggest difference?
Hopefully, the biggest difference this time next year will be that there are some hard, fast rules set that's going to address all the main issues.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm one of those that like the idea of saying, hey, you get one free transfer that you only get 5 years. So if you transfer a second time, that year you sit out counts against your time. And so you don't have all these guys that's just every year they're staying. And that I think, no pros. Sorry, Bucky, but no pros. So they're looking at that. There's just a lot of things that are just, a salary cap.
Common sense stuff.
Again, Elko's saying 2.5 years, not going to be able to cover it with our TV revenue. You need a salary cap. Of course, what'll happen.
Yeah.
Everybody should cheat. So if you get caught cheating, significant penalties that are actually enforced. So, hopefully this will happen. I think I think we'll know by December 1st what the playoff is going to look like, because that's the deadline. Apparently, the TV deals have to be worked out and all those things. So, the latest. Don't ask me why. I don't know, but apparently the TV people say the latest we can wait is December 1st. So that's the deadline that's been set. Sankey talked about it. So I think that's something that'll be
set in stone.
Well, it is college football.
True, yeah. You don't know. Because I feel like we've been talking about playoff expansion for the past 3-4 years at this point.
Decades even.
Yeah. Last thing on the spring meetings, just on, I believe it was Monday or Tuesday when Mike Elko got to speak to y'all. Tuesday. And I feel like his comments really caught fire. And for the audience, sorry for rehashing this because I was out, so this is all new info for me. But it was
Mike owned it. Mike was the star of the show.
Yeah.
They had 9 coaches go that day, and Clark Lee, Drinkwitz is funny and everything. Mike was funny in that, in some ways, like when someone say, "Hey, why don't you be the guy?" Because they're talking about needing a commissioner.
Yeah.
Or basically a commissioner, somebody in charge. And he says, "Look, I'm not qualified. I'm a football coach."
Mm-hmm.
Damn right, he's a football coach. I'm a football coach. I'm not qualified to run $1 billion industry. But he called out his industry. He says, we don't have a CEO. We got different people doing different things all over the place. And what industry does this?
Mm-hmm.
So it was just the no nonsense facts, just direct answers to questions that just, and like I said, he come in. Why y'all? Somebody said, "What do you feel about the playoffs?" And why are you asking me? We as coaches, our opinions don't matter. They'll ask us, but that doesn't mean they have any weight. I guess it's just a courtesy.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "There's no point for y'all to ask us because we don't. Our opinion isn't, doesn't matter." So it was just, I think, he didn't come off as being like arrogant. He didn't come off as talking down, condescending, and talking down to anybody. He's like, "Look, guys, I'm telling you, this is how it is."
Yeah.
And I think everybody appreciated that because just before him, Kalen DeBoer comes up. Kalen DeBoer comes up, and they ask you, "Hey, do you prefer a 2014 playoff, a 16 playoff, 12?" And he goes, "Well, I can see the argument for a 12-team playoff, and I can see the argument for a 16-team playoff. And I can see the argument for a 2014 playoff. I can see all those arguments. So I just want to win all my games." So you could have said, "I don't have an opinion on that." And just, so you get that, a guy that doesn't want to answer a question. And he's not a bad guy. He just doesn't want to ask, especially in where he is. He won 9 games and they're pissed off. So say the wrong thing.
Yeah, less he talks, the better.
Yeah. But right after that, again, Elko comes in and he just gives direct, intelligent answers, and it just blew people away.
Hobie, did you see Joey McGuire called out Steve Sarkisian in Texas about trying to get a game lined up? Joey McGuire says he's called Abilene Christian and Texas State to get them to cancel their games so they can figure something out.
What if Texas State says, I don't want to? Now, Abilene Christian may not have any say in it because Texas Tech said, well, we're canceling it. You're on our schedule. But Texas State isn't. Look, and you know what? I'm all for this. And I'll tell you why, Joey. Good job. Because and all you guys, all you Aggies are going to know, y'all remember this, for 5 years it seemed like Texas was trying to force A&M to schedule a game because their home schedule sucked and they had all this construction and they needed better games. And their only marquee game was Oklahoma, and that was played in Dallas. So they said, hey, we need A&M back. Yes, Texas needed A&M. And that's why they're in the SEC, and that's why they followed A&M into the SEC like the little brother they are that'll follow the big brother wherever he goes. So anyway, for 5 or 6 years, Texas was like, oh, A&M's afraid to play Texas, even though Texas ended the series. A&M's afraid to play. I'm like, dude, A&M was playing Alabama every year, Auburn every year, LSU every year. We're afraid to play Texas? It's like fighting Tyson and fighting Ali and fighting Holmes, but being afraid to fight, Danger, the retarded guy from $1 Million Baby, right? It didn't make any sense. Yeah. So now Texas is getting the same treatment. Like, hey, you're afraid to schedule us. Come on, let's play. Yeah. And I'm all for it. Go ahead, Texas Tech. Give them the taste of their own medicine.
I don't know if you saw Cody Campbell put out a tweet. He said, upping the ante, Tech Athletics will pay the buyout for both the ACU and Texas State games. So the full court press publicly
sure,
is
Cody Campbell can say, I got this. How much you need? Hey, look, I don't. If it was anybody but Texas, I'd be critical of Texas Tech. I'd say, hey, Tech, why don't you just schedule somebody good in non-conference?
Yeah,
it's not like you don't have a cakewalk and you didn't set it up for yourself.
Absolutely.
But since it's Texas and since Texas did the same damn thing, I'm all for it. I guess the only thing they can do is try to buy their way into the SEC like Texas did.
Yeah. Maybe so. We'll hit a break here. It'll be one more segment during the Go Hour, and we'll keep on rolling, OB.
Did you ever see $1 Million Baby? Mm-mm. Okay, so the danger reference.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You can explain it at the break.
All right.
We'll step aside here. You're listening to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner Schulers.
Everyone, David Nuno here for Allen Honda. Had a great conversation with them earlier today. John Allen's the owner. He's been here forever, and also their GM, Rusty Skinner, great guy. Wonderful conversation. They're super local. They're a family-owned dealership, not some massive auto group, and they treat their customers like family because they basically are family. They're Aggie alums. They love Aggie sports, and they've been serving the Brazos Valley with integrity, with passion, and commitment to excellence for over 50 years, which is very rare, by the way, for the independents because people trust them. And that's why they've been doing it for such a long time. Whether you're looking to buy, lease, or service your vehicle, you can count on them for transparent, no pressure experience that puts your needs first. And I can attest to it. Had a great conversation about my own situation with them. Their knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect Honda to fit your lifestyle, from fuel-efficient sedans to versatile SUVs. Leasing options are flexible and affordable, making it easy to drive the latest models with confidence. And when it comes to service, their certified technicians only use genuine Honda parts to keep your vehicle running at its best, whether it's routine maintenance for major repairs or whatever it may be. And we know that trust isn't given, it is earned, and that's why generations of local drivers right here in the Brazos Valley and Bryan College Station keep coming back to Allen Honda. As part of the community with Aggie spirit in their hearts, they are here to make everyone's visit wonderful. So visit their showroom or their service lane and find friendly, efficient, and memorable situations when you go to Allen Honda. Come see why so many College Station and Bryan drivers choose Allen Honda for their automotive needs, and remember, gig 'em.
Big Metallica guy, OB?
Not really. I mean, I respect it.
Is like your tempo this morning.
Is it? You know what? It took one catalyst to get me in trouble. I haven't even finished it.
Welcome back to TexAgs Live. Final segment of the Go Hour presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. We got a few things to do here, OB. Let's run our mouths. 3 things we want to see. And we can
you
package
want me to run
that.
my mouth even more?
Yeah, even more. I guess we have to.
I got Reese over there laughing at me.
So give me 3 things you want to see this week.
Yeah, I want to see A&M win on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But I know you want more than that. Look, I want to see Shane Sadeo at his best.
Yeah.
When Shane Sadeo's at his best, he's striking people out and keeping the ball in the yard. And when he's doing that, he can be excellent. Mm-hmm. He can. He's had a tough year. He's shown flashes. You know, I saw one game where he had like 10 strikeouts in 5 innings. Unfortunately, he'd given up like, a few home runs too. Yeah. So keep the ball in the yard, Shane, and go strike them out and have a strong showing. So I want to see that. We all want to see that. Man, I want to see. I want to see that batting order bounce back from that tough day against Auburn. That's going to happen up in Hoover. But man, I want to see home runs.
Yep.
I want to see Sorrell and Grahovic and Hakopian and Wilson and the Bear. I don't even want to say Harrison. I want to say the Bear and Partita. I want to see those guys just bashing and mashing all weekend. And there's so many other things, it gets good defense. Don't help your opponent.
Let's pay one more bill here. Let's bank on it. Presented by Vera Bank. Honest questions, genuine advice. Go see Joel Jackson and the team. Learn more at verabank.com. I will bank on A&M slugging their way to the Super Regionals. Well, you know what? It's Friday. I'm going to be at the game watching, and I'm going to bank on it. I'm going to bank on Sadeo being the best version of Sadeo. I'm hoping, so I'm going to bank on you, Shane. Would love to see that. OB, thank you so much. Even making it in after a long week of work for you. I appreciate you hanging out with me for an hour. And
yeah, it's fun.
Hope you enjoy the weekend.
Let's see if I come back Monday or if I'm not fired.
We'll see. On the other side, the baseball bunch, Bronny, Zane, and Scott Clendenin will join me here in studio to preview A&M and Lamar. Don't go anywhere. This is TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. I think I'll have a little bit better luck keeping this hour on the rails. But
0%.
I don't know. I'll try my best. Welcome back to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here inside the Rollo Insurance Studio. Got Ryan Brauninger, Richard Zane, Scott Clendenin with me here to preview the College Station Regional, Texas A&M Lamar, starting at 3 o'clock over at Olson Field at Bluebell Park. And I guess we'll start things off with any words you want to add to the show, by the way?
No words.
Any fun words?
No words.
Okay. Just kidding.
I mean, it could get a little off color in here, just like Olin.
The Go Hour had a big-time B-team flair this morning.
It did.
And, which is all the more reason why our chat has become more active on B-team. In every episode, they are begging and pleading for us to have Olin on the show. The first hour of TexAgs Live here on this Friday is a prime example of why we cannot allow Olin on the B team.
It would just be maximum.
There's no FCC violations on that show, so Olin would go.
But we do have
extreme.
We do have standards that are allowed by this company, which I do feel like would put the future of our show, in jeopardy.
Shout out to Danny Grant in the chat. He mentioned the chat. I know Danny Grant's in the chat. Stop texting.
Y'all gotta give
and
it
driving.
a name. I'm gonna give the chat a name.
Chat spam W's.
But anyways,
Danny said he had a torta for breakfast.
He's celebrating the Spurs win. Did you go honking?
I'm surprised he was up this early after honking last
night. Yeah, went honking last night and then had a torta for breakfast.
Doing something with the horn.
Anyways.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, yeah. I guess we'll start off with just kind of a general, I know David kind of leaves it open-ended for y'all to start off this hour, so I guess, Bronny, you can kick things off. Just general thoughts, feelings heading into today's ball game.
Yeah, I thought Coach Early had a decision to make about how he was going to handle the starting pitching. He went with Shane Sadeo. We went over this on B Team yesterday, went through his numbers in the non-conference. And when you look at how Lamar is built, where Shane has gotten hurt this year, it's a pretty good matchup. It makes a lot of sense on paper for Coach Early to make this decision. Lamar is not a team that hits the ball over your head or over the fence very often. Now, the counter argument to that is they play in a ballpark that does not lend itself to that. Vincent Beck Stadium in Beaumont is oriented the complete opposite way.
Can you say that word anymore?
That's what I was making sure I wasn't pulling it. It's completely flipped from Bluebell Park, and so a south wind, when it gets hot and a south wind blows, it blows in Beaumont. So the ball doesn't go out of the ballpark. But still, Lamar's not built to slug the ball like Texas State is. And Shane throws the ball over the plate, and Shane does create swing and miss. So with the contact that he does allow, it has been far, high, and long. That typically works itself out when you're facing an offense that is not as physical as what he's seen in the SEC.
Richard?
For me, I think the excitement is just postseason baseball here. It's kind of similar to the anticipation, maybe some anxiety, kind of like opening day, but it means a lot more now, right? Because you're playing for your life, and you have 2 lives left. You can only lose once, and if you lose the second time, your season's over. So, I mean, it's a big move from Coach Early to go with Shane Sadeo, but he spoke about it yesterday, talking about the belief and how he wouldn't want to bet against that left-hander. And if you look back before his injury and before he had to miss 25 with the recovery for Tommy John, he was pretty good in postseason play, dating back to as a true freshman out at Stanford when he beat Cal State Fullerton, pitched 4 innings in relief in a victory out there, and then against Louisiana in a regional clincher as a sophomore. So he's been in this spot before. He's found success against non-conference opponents already this season. So it's a gamble, but it's an educated gamble from Coach Early, and we'll see how it pays off because it needs to for the Aggies. They have to stay in the winner's bracket. We've told you all season long that pitching is going to be what ultimately undoes them if anything does, and somebody's going to have to step up, and that begins today with Sadeo.
I think that, you have two, I know that holding pitching and pitching back and all that stuff is being looked at all across the country. Because some people are doing it. USC is doing it in this tournament to hold their number one. I think that A&M is in a position where they know the team they're playing, whether or not it's the same team they saw earlier in the year or it's not. They know this team. They have scouting report. They have
familiarity with Lamar. I also, when I look and see that Lamar has 24 of their 34 wins are against teams in their conference, where they ran roughshod over that conference. Got to tip your hat to them. I mean, they've done that the previous 2 years, but not been able to finish the job and make the NCAA tournament. They broke on through this year. So looking at that, you want to go out there with a guy that you have some trust in. And whether the trust is based on the past, whether it's based on what you've seen, in the couple 3 weeks since you took him out of the starting rotation, you have to put your best foot forward. And I think that's what A&M is doing right now. It does match up well. This is an interesting regional as far as the offenses that are going to be faced against A&M. A&M is significantly more explosive than the teams they play. And you have to count on your team and the best part of your team being the part that leads you forward and leads you to the next round of the tournament. And A&M can do that with good pitching. It doesn't have to be lights out pitching. Some of the other teams in this regional have to pitch lights out and shut down A&M to advance.
The theme of this regional is the old baseball adage, good pitching beats good hitting. Well, we're going to find out, because between Texas A&M and Texas State, those are two of the top 10 home run hitting teams in the country. And then on the flip side, Lamar and USC are built on the mound. And USC much more so than Lamar. When you start looking at the entirety of the regional, though, it is the juxtaposition between 2 being slug, 2 being pitch. In this ballpark, it is going to be very, very interesting to see how this plays out. Not only today with Texas A&M and Lamar, but going forward throughout the duration of the regional. And how does Lamar try to score offensively? Because they are a nickel and dime you type of club. They're going to single you to death. They're going to try to run bases. They're trying to take extra bases when they can. That is how Lamar gets crooked numbers. Can they do that here? Can Lamar play their style, which has been so successful in the Southland, in this ballpark against the physical offenses they may face? That's a question for me. If the 4 seed's going to have some success, I think they're going to need more than one an inning type of offense. So the bunt game and all that kind of stuff goes by the wayside.
A big question for me is, how does Chris Olivier, how does he fare, Southland Conference Pitcher of the Year, against A&M's offense? His conference numbers, his conference ERA in the Southland is over 3, whip right around 1, but his overall numbers are helped out by shutouts against Oakland and UTA early on in the season. Against the best offense I think he faced all year long, Oregon State, he lasted just 3 innings and gave up 4 runs, 2 earned runs. So how does A&M fare against him?
How did he do it? Did he throw against UTRGV?
He did throw against UTRGV. He threw 7 no-hit innings, struck out 11.
And UTRGV in the Southland
that was back in February.
Right. But that offense, in terms of Southland Conference offenses, UTRGV, Southeastern Louisiana, were the 2 that they're not SEC offenses. But if you're going to try to bridge the gap between Southland offense and SEC, those were the 2 most physical teams in the league. And so when I watch Olivier pitch, I wonder, first of all, him pitching in that ballpark is going to give him some confidence to throw the ball in the zone. I don't think he's faced an offense yet that can scare him out of the strike zone. Will he be as aggressive early in counts, throwing the ball in zone against Texas A&M? On the flip side is, can A&M bloody him early if he is going to do that? The stuff is good. He gets some chase late in count on the changeup and on the curveball. But against Southland Conference hitters, they are you can be aggressive in zone early and they don't really hurt you. Throughout the duration of the game, they don't hurt you. So if I'm aggressive in zone and I get them on swing, the probability that they chase thereafter goes up. Can A&M control the strike zone and get loud, good good contact quality early in counts to maybe force Olivier to do something different?
And I think that, also going back to, how A&M starts this game, can you take Lamar out of bunt, stolen base? If they're chasing runs, you don't chase runs by, giving yourself a chance to be out. And I think that one of the things that is underrated this year is, even against teams in the SEC that stole bases, because of how explosive A&M's offense was and how good Bear Harrison was behind the plate. Teams didn't want to risk that. They didn't want to risk running into an out and turning a chance to get a 2-run home run into a solo because A&M was giving up home runs. Do I want to risk taking somebody off the bases in front of a home run? And that's what happened in the SEC. I don't know if USC or Lamar slugs enough to do that. And I think that that's where the beginning of the game, which is always so important. A&M is going to want to get off to a good start, especially after the offensive showing they had in Hoover. But I think the coaches are also right when they talk about, nobody talked about our offense the 2 weeks before. Can we not tip our hat to a guy who was one of the better pitchers in the SEC having success against A&M? Or do we just have to say, well, now they're slumping? Well, I think the offense has a chance to even be better because of the pieces that are going to be put out there, and I know we're going to talk about that a lot.
And Scott, to your point, talking about Lamar's offense chasing runs, if A&M's off to a good start, Olivier's likely out of the game late, and then you're facing a Southland bullpen, and that should give A&M even more confidence, along with the fact that Nico Partita is going to be back.
Well, I know that stepping into the batter's box in your own ballpark is much more comfortable than stepping into it in a foreign place that you've never been. I want to give Auburn credit and Andres Alvarez credit for the way he pitched in Hoover. I also want to say that A&M was nowhere near good enough. That was perhaps, if that wasn't the worst offensive night of the year, it was up there with those two games against Penn. It was one of the 3 worst nights of the year for the A&M offense, bar none. That being said, the Aggies stepped on that field 30 minutes before they played. It's the first time a lot of those guys in the lineup had ever stepped in that batter's box and had that feel. Auburn got to play the day before. You know, some of the stardust is knocked off of that whenever you get to play in it. It's just the challenges of playing in the SEC tournament with it being single elimination now. They practice at a high school a couple of times, and then they go out there and play in Hoover, and you got to face an arm like Alvarez. But all that to say, they were not good enough. And I do expect them to bounce back because they have all year. And I do think stepping into their own batter's box, the comfortability level, on a warm weekend at Bluebell Park, that'll feel like home to a lot of those guys.
Open practices were yesterday. I know y'all got to watch A&M. Don't know how much y'all got to watch of everybody else. Just kind of some of the takeaways. How did the guys that were banged up, that were expecting back look? And if you got to see any of the other teams in the regional, what were some of the takeaways?
Nico looked great. Nico looked back to normal. Took a full round of BP, then took a full round of defense. Showed no ill effects. They were practicing in shorts, and I did not see any sort of wrap on that hamstring. I would expect that he is full go. And from what I was told, he could have played last week against Auburn. Coach Early just exercising an abundance of caution to make sure that if he was 100% last week, then he was going to feel 1,000% this week.
Absolutely.
I only got to watch A&M, and my biggest takeaway was Bo Brauninger doesn't like trains. But the other big takeaway is Uncle Richard didn't shield his ears. So that's hands up.
It's
That's
kind
on
of
me.
funny that he put the blame on, he started with the infant child and then took responsibility for himself afterward.
Were they like extra loud or something?
They were loud. It was a loud train. It's just a normal train horn, but it's
Southbound
okay.
train, when it gets close to Welborn and George Bush, my son was out there with me. He was great. He was chill. Actually, when Scott showed up, he barfed, but that was
but not on me because I didn't offer to hold.
And there was a southbound train, and when it got close to the intersection, it blared its horn, and Richard was holding the baby and did not cover his ears. And
It's a lesson learned. I don't have kids of my own yet, but when
you start taking
train,
when you start taking him to like monster truck rallies and NASCAR races, they sell earmuffs.
Yeah, I know.
And you can.
I told my wife that happened. She's like, his earphones are like in the stroller. I didn't know that.
You think Bo's going to be like a big Ryan Blaney fan?
No.
Joey Logano?
Yeah, I think Lugs will probably be his guy.
Who?
Lugs. Me and Logano are tight.
Lugs.
Okay. Lugs.
Your takeaways from the open.
Well, I think that when you show up, and you're here, 2 of the 3 teams have familiarity with your place, and I think that probably leads them to certain things they're working on. USC has some familiarity with A&M, and they talked about it yesterday, but it was 2 years ago in Arlington. So even the guys that are back, they have not seen the full effects. Mm-hmm. You have a couple teams here that have the full effects, Section 203, to be loud and rain down on them. And I think that, it's one thing to, show up at Bluebell and have a scripted hour and 15-minute practice by the NCAA that everything you're going to do. I think that turns around pretty quick when you're playing those games. And, USC and Lamar, that's going to be interesting because it's been a while. And, that Lamar hasn't pushed through like they did this year. I was talking to Brownie outside. The Southland has gone to best 2 out of 3 once you get to the finals of the tournament. Lamar was in that situation. They feel good about their previous weekend. USC had a chance to beat UCLA. They gave up a lead late. I don't think they come in here thinking that last week blew us out of the water. We didn't get a host because of it. I don't think those teams are going to feel like that. I think Texas State is pretty pumped up about
last team in. But it doesn't matter. We're in. So I don't think that an hour and 15-minute practice, the other day is going to tell you much of anything. It's like going to the NCAA men's basketball practice. Mm-hmm. You're not really out there working on something if your guys are healthy and you can see them running around. Yeah, and conference tournament performance is not indicative of how you're going to play in the NCAA tournament. It never is. It never is, regardless if it's basketball or baseball or even softball. I do think you go back to that game a couple of years ago in Arlington, Texas A&M against USC, and the USC pitching staff absolutely melted down in front of a very fraction of the 12th man that they're going to see here at Bluebell Park. And there was some ball 5 chance. I think they got up to 7 or 8, and they started rolling through pitchers, and they could not figure out the strike zone. I would think that the USC staff pointed to that and said it's only going to be worse. So challenge their guys to compete in the strike zone a little bit more. And thankful for them, they've got a guy going tonight and a guy going tomorrow that they'll pitch them in Antarctica, and they're going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Antarctica, the Sahara Desert, Pyongyang, North Korea, or Baghdad, Iraq. Those guys can toe the rubber and pitch.
Geosport's really going well for y'all.
2 cities. It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
Hey, let's hit a break here, guys. On the other side, we'll dive into it more, maybe get y'all's reaction. I'm sure y'all talked about it, Monday, Tuesday after the bracket was released and everything, but I kind of want to get all of y'all's reaction again of the regional draw and much more than that. You're listening to TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner Jewelers.
Howdy, this is Texas A&M pitcher Aiden Sims. You're listening to TexAgs Live.
This is bringing us back here on the Baseball Bunch, presented by David Gardner Jewelers here inside the Rollo Insurance Studio. Nick Savage filling in for David Nuno. Got Bronny, Scotty, and Richard Zane with me. And guys, just want to kind of get your, Zane. Zaner.
Oh, thank you.
Zaniac.
Thank you. I appreciate
Whichever
that.
you prefer.
I just felt left out.
Sorry.
Big shooter.
Nope, not that one.
My friend. How about that?
Oh, yes. Friends.
David likes to do the hello friends, the gym dance every now and then, so should have thrown that in there. But
No
guys,
one's ever confused them for each other.
No, I think you're right. I want to get y'all's reaction because, again, I was out of the country. Got to listen here and there.
No,
not a traveler.
Wow. Were you Pyongyang?
Literally the first time I've left the country since like middle school. That's not a flex at all. But anyways,
New York
average.
City's part of the United States still.
Yeah, it is.
Where you, weren't you on the campaign trail?
I was not.
No, I thought you were at like donor meetings and stuff.
No, I wasn't. Regionals ranked. I don't go to those meetings. Ranked by difficulty, RPI, DSR, the two kind of metrics that everyone loves. A&M Regional, College Station Regional, I should say, third hardest in terms of RPI. DSR, they are the toughest in terms of DSR. So just, I want to hear all of y'all's takes on the draw that A&M got with the three teams coming here, and is it fair? Do we like
styles make fights?
Mm-hmm.
To me, and when you look at those metrics are lacking a little bit of context. First of all, we know that RPI is a flawed metric. Even though the committee relied so heavily upon it, it is a flawed metric. Any system that you put in place where you can win a game and lose points in that metric, I think is a flawed system. So I do agree that DSR takes into it looks at the whole picture a little bit better, a little bit cleaner, more efficient. All that being said, these are good to anybody. And I mean, Lamar is going to have a tough time just because they lack the physicality 1 through 9. But you know, it's baseball and anything can happen. And Lamar is not as deep on the mound, but their frontline guys between Olivier and Lutz, their first two kids, they can beat SEC Big Ten teams, no problem. Texas State, I think there's one way for them to do this, and it's kind of similar to A&M, is hit the ball over everybody's head a bunch, get on first base, and then try to slug. So when I look at the entirety of the regional, I would say that even though the metrics do say this is a tough regional, and if you go across the country at everybody, there is a wide range of college baseball podcasts, which I love. 10 years ago, they were non-existent. And I dig all the content coming out on college baseball. Matter of fact, I think ESPN put out a graphic that said that the conference tournament weekend was the highest rated weekend of college baseball they've ever had. So they're looking forward to the regionals upcoming. Everybody, all those people that are making picks on regionals, there's a lot of folks that do not think Texas A&M will win this region. Mm-hmm. And I think they're just looking at those the RPI and DSR. And if you want to sit up here and bang the table for USC or even Texas State to win the regional, there are legitimate reasons why that could happen because the A&M pitching has been so inconsistent. But I like this draw for the Aggies. The biggest hurdle will be Mason Edwards. If they're able to win today and USC wins, is what happens against the best left-hander in the country. Who, I say in best left-hander in the country, that's pitched in the Big Ten and has accumulated some remarkable statistics as he played an offense like Texas A&M, and I'm including UCLA in that conversation.
For me, on Selection Day, the biggest gripe was not who's coming to College Station, but probably where Texas A&M was seated. I think 12 is too low, but even that lacks a little bit of context because I know the selection committee likes to gerrymander those matchups for the Supers to potentially take out SEC teams or to avoid certain matchups and maybe a 90-mile trip west to Austin, whatever. Mm-hmm. So as far as the teams go that came to College Station, no gripe on my part, man. It's going to be difficult, but it's the NCAA tournament. It's meant to be difficult. I think a team like North Carolina, probably has a much bigger gripe, especially considering where they're seated in the national seed standpoint.
Let me ask you this. Would you rather, as a 2 seed, this is for everybody, Reese, you included because you're a balls knower, would you rather have a 2 seed of USC for A&M Would you rather have a 2 seed of USC or Oklahoma State?
USC.
USC.
Me too. Me too.
Balls newer?
USC.
Okay, thank you.
Would North Carolina rather have Oklahoma State or Tennessee?
They'd probably rather have Tennessee. The way Oklahoma State's slinging the bat right now.
But I'm just saying, with the SEC as big as it is, and the caveat that you cannot play in the regional a conference matchup, the size of the Big Ten, the size of the ACC, and the size of the SEC have changed how regionals are filled out anyway. And so you look at some places and you're like, well, you know, when A&M got to be a host site, even before they knew they were, you know, not in the top 8, but you could look and see these are the potential teams that could make the trip. Okay, and I'm not surprised. A&M is west. USC is coming off the coast, but you know, I still think that they want to do some gerrymandering still. I think I look at a regional that has Washington. Is it Washington State, Oregon State, and Oregon? You know, they're looking at, hey, we're matching this up to eliminate an area of the country. They're still apt to do that. You know, I was shocked that they didn't have A&M go into Austin, and whether all of a sudden they don't want to do that when every sport since the Big 12 broke up, A&M and Texas were matched up if they possibly could. Either in regional or super regional, in every sport across the country. So I just think that, you know, A&M seated a little low. They used RPI to justify that. They used DSR to justify other teams where they were. The NCAA is going to talk out both sides of their mouth when they have the press conferences, no matter what sport it is. If they get up there and talk to you about why a team was slotted one place or the other, it's all made up. They've got bullet points ready to go on whichever direction you wanted it to go. To talk about the end of A&M season, to talk about who they played in non-conference, to talk about whatever it is.
Can we talk when we come back from break? Can we talk about the non-conference schedule so I can clear some things up about? You know, everybody was looking. Well, A&M should have won more games in the SEC. Well, they won 18. A&M should have played better teams in the non-conference. Well, there's a reason for that. It's one of these situations where everybody, in hindsight, criticizes a decision without knowing the options that were available to the guy making the decision.
Mm-hmm. For what it's worth, we'll hit a break after this, but the Chapel Hill Regional, which is what A&M is matched up with, they are 4th in the RPI difficulty rankings, right behind A&M.
I'm going to tell you something. Lincoln Regional's got to be up there, and the Lawrence Regional's got to be up
Lawrence is the highest, the most difficult in terms of RPI. In the, what's the other one
Lincoln.
you said? Lincoln is the second to last.
Wow.
So,
I mean,
in terms
Ole
of
Miss,
average RPI.
Who's the 4 seed there? Because that's probably dumping it.
North Dakota State. It looks
That's
like.
South Dakota State.
South Dakota
Yeah,
State.
so
excuse
that's
me.
the issue. That's that. To me, you have to remove 4 seeds when you're talking about average RPI and toughest regional, if that's the metric you're going to use. But I think any of those top 3 seeds in Lincoln can win that regional.
Hey, and I tell you what, must-see TV is Arkansas and Missouri State.
Oh yeah, they've had some electric midweeks this year.
Yes.
All right, we'll hit a break here and get into the non-conference schedule and a few other things on the other side. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by TexAgs Live. Wow.
Wow,
Presented
you pulled a
by
Richard.
David Garner's Jewelers.
Loves that ref.
Back here on TexAgs Live, we're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Sorry for the
hot mic.
Hot mic, no warning. I didn't hear you. I mentioned we're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're inside the Rollo Insurance Studio. It's the Baseball Bunch.
What's the name of the show?
TexAgs Live.
Yes.
TexAgs Live.
Never mistaken it for a different one.
Yeah, got Bronny, Richard, and Scott here. And Bronny, you wanted to dive into the non-conference schedule
just
a little bit?
Real quick. So a couple of things when you're scheduling non-conference opponents to begin with, without going into the nuance of what happened here at A&M, you don't really know how good these mid-major teams are going to be ahead of time when you schedule them. Tennessee Tech is not too far removed from making some noise in the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't very good this year. Penn is also not far removed from making some real noise in the postseason, winning a couple of games in the Auburn Regional and sending Auburn home, I believe. Is that correct? When Jackson Appel was there. Virginia Tech, UCLA, Arizona State are all tournament teams. That is the best tournament, pre-conference tournament that Texas A&M has been to in a while. When you look at how all of those teams have fared. Last year in Houston, you got to play Rice. Every one of those teams, Virginia Tech, UCLA, and Arizona State, as I mentioned, are in the tournament field.
Arizona State's got the possible Golden Spikes Award winner, Player of the Year.
Then you have Oakland, who was doing a tour of the SEC to get paid.
And there's also a connection to Texas A&M and College Station on that coaching staff.
So Oakland would be the one who, like, okay, that program has not had any sort of success, but you do have a connection in the coaching staff there. But that's just the general rule. When you're scheduling non-conference, non-P4s, you are going to run in. You have a risk. There's a gamble of those teams being not good year to year. It's hard to know. Even if you look at their roster and you look how they did the year before, it's hard with the mid-majors and the amount of roster turnover now to get a good feel of who's going to be what the following season. Mm-hmm. Now, when A&M was getting ready to put together their future schedules, the previous schedules that had been on the calendar magically disappeared into thin air. I'm not trying to lay blame on anything. I'm just telling you that's what happened. So there were teams calling Texas A&M saying, hey, are we still on for this date, whether it be midweek or weekend non-conference series? And there were people on the A&M staff like, I don't know anything about this. This is the first I'm hearing it because we don't have the future schedules. We weren't left the future schedules. Mm-hmm. So they were kind of in scramble mode to put together these non-conference weekends whenever they got in the seat and got the job. And so it was kind of whatever is available, we got to take. So there's, again, nuance to that discussion. It's not as easy as A&M should do a better job of scheduling their non-conference series. I have been vocally on record about I would love to see A&M every year play an in-state non-SEC school in a 3-game set. I don't care if it's Tech. I don't care if it's Baylor. I would love for it to be Baylor where you alternate like you used to do with Texas, 2 in College Station, 1 in Waco. The next year, 2 in Waco, 1 in College Station. Play U of H on a weekend. Play Rice on a weekend, whatever. Go around the state and play all these the power conference programs in baseball and reignite some old rivalries in the non-conference. I would love that.
I would too, yeah.
But if you want to tell me why would A&M do that whenever they've got the gauntlet of the SEC upcoming and you're already playing one of these pre-conference tournaments that's going to have really good competition in it, I would understand that completely as well. The reason why I'd like to play somebody locally is the nostalgia for it.
Yep. Be careful bringing up Tech in non-conference series. They might offer to buy out opponents.
Well, and I also think that, and we're talking about it a little bit, and you hit on it, Bronny. Whoever you are, you have no idea what your team is going to be the next year. Mid-majors have no idea. If I have a player, I think in their portal and out, if they haven't already. And I think that, whether you look at somebody and said, hey, this team made a run. They were a 4 seed in the tournament this year, and there are a bunch of freshmen and sophomores on that team. Maybe they are going to be a team that makes another step up. You never know now. I mean,
what if you put Lamar on your non-conference schedule for a weekend next year? Mm-hmm. They just won the Southland Conference tournament. They're in the postseason, and their head coach is bailing, and that entire roster is about to be obliterated.
Mm-hmm. And you did it last fall. I mean, you're not sitting here with a bunch of open spots.
Right.
I mean, it's why what A&M basketball had to go through and filling spots. This is just the nature of the business right now. You lost 2 non-conference games. One of them was to the number 1 team in the country. You won 18 SEC games. What is keeping you from being a top 8 national seed? Well, it's happened once in the last 15 years that an SEC team didn't get a top 8 national seed that finished 3rd place and had 18 wins. Well, now it's twice. Understand that Florida got hot at the right time. Florida still wasn't playing the teams that A&M was playing to end the season, and they made a run. Well, when they ended up in the conference tournament as deep as they did, you pretty much knew that A&M was going to be on the outside.
And I don't think that the players, you can't go into this regional weekend feeling slighted. Maybe a little bit of your chip on your shoulder, like, hey, like people still don't respect us.
Mm-hmm.
But we've talked about this before. Like anger and rage don't lend itself to being productive in baseball. That's not how you win baseball games. Like playing with a little bit of an edge, that's fine. It goes back to play with emotion, don't be emotional. But the emotion that you're playing with can't be anger and rage, and I'm mad that we were disrespected. That baseball will eat you up and spit you out. If you're that type of player, the game like feasts off of you. And it was some of the issues where like Jace, for instance, one of the greatest players to ever play here. Jace would get really up and angry that he wasn't hitting. And then that's when Jace would like really start to taper off. Mm-hmm. So even it happens to the best players, the most talented players. You can't beat this game. The game knows, the game understands it's weird how it kind of has its own life, its own pulse, and its own understanding of how it's treated.
Let's go over to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Reese Nygren is going to jump in on the baseball bunch. He's got a question for y'all.
Interesting. And we said earlier, that's a tough draw for North Carolina as a 5 national seed.
I think I did my research on Tennessee, and yesterday on B Team we were talking about that regional, and I said I got questions about Tegan Coons' health. It's not Tegan Coons, it's Landon Mack, their other starter, who has been.
Minutes is all we need here on the baseball bunch, here on TexAgs Live. Presented by David Gardner Jewelers. We're inside the Rollo Insurance Studio. Final segment of the 9 o'clock hour. Billy Liucci coming up in the 10 o'clock hour, getting you ready for A&M and Lamar. On
what
the
time will Billy be here?
I don't know. But I don't have
Neither does Billy.
I don't have any playback loaded up because
Reese was telling us yesterday he used to tap dance when he was little. So if you need a
I know. Me and Reese are going to tap dance
together.
What?
Yeah, you can tell. You can tell.
Gentlemen, who's a pitcher and a hitter? You can say the same person that we're going to be talking about after the weekend. Scotty, you can start.
Clayton Freshcorn. I think that's the key right there. Clayton Freshcorn, all SEC pitcher, has shown that he can stretch himself out. Mm-hmm. He can give you more than once on a weekend. I think this is where you want to hand the ball to a guy and say, hey, go give you an Oschenbeck type performance this weekend. Clayton Freshcorn's your guy. And then I think that you look at how the lineup's going to be put back together. Let's see what you get out of, Grahovac with some people on in front of him as you've lengthened the lineup back out. That he has a chance. I mean, it sounded real good to just give the SEC triple count to somebody from Georgia. Clayton Sorrell and Gavin Grahovac can run down the RBI total in the next couple weeks.
For me, offensively, I'll go with Bear Harrison. Big right-handed bat. I think he's important this weekend for what he can do offensively and defensively behind the plate. And then as far as pitching goes, I don't know if it's low-hanging fruit or not, but I'll go with Shane Sadeo today. Like, this is an important start. He can provide you some length. He could set you up not only to win the ball game today, but also have a stocked bullpen for the winner's bracket game tomorrow. This is an important day for the left-hander. Hopefully he can give the Aggies what they need.
Yeah, I think when you look back at the weekend, the name we're going to be talking about the most is Aiden Sims, just because what is he able to give you? And is he effective? It's not going to be, you can't just assume that this kid, is going to go back out there and not feel that tightness flare back up, but also he's going to be as sharp as he was. Like, that's a big assumption. So what role does Aiden Sims have? How sharp is he? If he's the best version of himself, that's a massive piece to this puzzle for the A&M pitching staff in this regional. Scotty took Freshcorn, so I'll put the caveat of a healthy Aiden Sims or just a healthy-ish Aiden Sims with Gavin Lyons. Gavin Lyons needs to pitch better, and he's going to get opportunities to pitch. A&M's going to need that version of Gavin Lyons we saw against Texas and we saw against LSU, and really started that second outing against Vanderbilt. Offensively, Bear has been the unsung hero of this team. How the opposing pitching staffs attack Caden Sorrell, I think, is a massive storyline for this A&M offense this weekend. Can he control the zone? Will they challenge him? Or will everybody say, we're not going to throw in zone, we're going to assume he is going to chase. If we walk him, we walk him.
Are the Aggies playing in the Supers next weekend?
Yes.
Yes.
By the skin of their teeth. I think this is going to be very tough.
Are we playing on Monday?
We could be playing on Monday.
Depends on Texas State, USC, on how long this regional lasts.
All righty, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate the hour. Go over to Bluebell and enjoy it. Billy Liucci coming up on the other side. This is TexAgs Live. Welcome back into TexAgs Live. Nick Savage filling in for David Nuno just for today. Bronny, I believe, will be in the host chair on Monday as we get set for the College Station Regional. Texas A&M taking on Lamar here in just a little bit. But right now, the final segment of the show is brought to you by Double Dave's. That is at 10:50. But caller number 12 at 979-693-1150. We'll hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's, serving Aggie Land since 1984. Double Dave's Pizza, serving up your favorite pizza and world-famous pepperoni rolls with reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click doubledave.com, and your favorites are on their way. Billy Liucci will be in studio with us shortly to talk all things College Station Regional and 2026 SEC spring meetings. But first, before we do that, we're going to go over to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center and find out what's on TexAgs today. Reese, take it away.
Yeah, so again, as always, it is an awesome time to become a TexAgs premium subscriber. Just some of the things that we have on TexAgs currently. We have Richard's baseball articles, including why Coach Early landed on Shane Sadeo to start Game 1, and then a preview of the College Station Regional, which will, of course, begin later today. Press conference videos from all 4 of the head coaches and some of the players from this regional. OB's article on the SEC spring meetings ending without a resolution on college football playoff expansion. Recruiting notes from the GOAT, Jason Howell, including around the SEC and this week's official visits thread with Jason Howell and Bronny. Kay and Kayla's softball transfer portal thread is open, keeping you updated on all the portal entries and portal games. And of course, registration for 2026 preseason kickoff is now open, but not for much longer. Preseason kickoff will include interviews with numerous Texas A&M coaches, headlined by the one and only Mike Elko. Later today and this weekend, you can expect a lot of baseball coverage from Bluebell from Richard and Bronny, and then of course that official visits thread from Jason Howell and Ryan Brauninger as well will be open.
I love Jason Howell.
Who doesn't love Jason Howell?
I know.
Jason
the best
Howell.
part about PKO, by the way, Reese Nygren will be there.
I will be there. Apparently, the YouTube chat is blaming me and saying for YouTube stream had a little technical issues. People were blaming me and saying that I'm the issue and that I am not allowed to attend the baseball game today. So,
were you planning on it?
I was planning on it.
You got tickets?
No, I was going to be out in Aggie Alley with all the students. But the YouTube chat has told me that I am not allowed to attend the baseball game today.
I think you should be banned as well for getting us off the air.
They are 5-1 when I'm in attendance. I would just like to throw that out there.
What's the one they lost?
Which one did they lose? It was one of the Georgia one of the Georgia games they lost.
Well, they turned it around after that series. As TexAgs co-owner and executive editor Billy Liucci has joined me in studio. Mr. Liucci, good to see you.
Nick, I didn't even realize you were going to be here today.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Way to go, Nuno. Nuno will be like, I told you. I sent it in an email.
Yeah,
well, guess what, David? Guess who doesn't check his emails? Surprise, surprise.
Well, Billy, let's, I guess, lead things off with a ball game coming up here in just a little bit. A&M Lamar, Sadeo getting the ball in Game 1. Just, I guess, your thoughts on that decision to start him and how you feeling and heading into the regional.
Yeah, I mean, I think you want someone with postseason experience like Shane to get you going. I think the decision to hold Sims till Saturday is certainly the right thing. Particularly, you see what USC is trying to do. I hope that backfires for them against Texas State. Nothing against Texas State because we know they can rake too. And was it Tech a couple of years ago that learned the lesson? Don't let Texas State get hot at your own regional because they can win it. Mm-hmm. Texas learned that lesson last year at UTSA. It happens every year in college baseball, and Texas State's certainly equipped to do that. So I'll be really interested in tonight's game. But this Lamar one, what was the score the last time they played A&M? Is it 25-5? Or what was it?
Yeah, I'll go pull that for you real quick.
With what they're bringing, this is one of those games where it sets up.
25-5.
Yeah, this is one of those games where it sets up. You don't want to really play the team you beat 25-5 on a Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm.
When they're going to throw their weekend ace, who was a Southland Pitcher of the Year. This is a real challenge for the Aggies. I'm not saying they shouldn't win as a 1 seed playing at home against a 4. They need to win, and the pitching's only going to get tougher. They might face the Southland Pitcher of the Year and the Big Ten Pitcher of the Year back-to-back days.
Crazy.
It's wild. And that's if things are going well, So this is a big, obviously this game is you probably don't win the regional if you don't win today. It's happened many times, but you probably don't. When it usually happens, it doesn't happen to a team with major pitching concern. But I do think, the Aggies will figure it out. But this is not your typical 1-4 where you're just thinking, hopefully we can throw just an arm and be up 7 or 8, 1, 2, and then kind of, piecemeal it from there in such a way that we're just setting up the rest of the weekend. It'd be amazing if it was one of those type games. I'm not expecting that. And Sadeo's going to have to show up. He's going to have to show up. It's like, hey, man, you haven't had the year you've wanted, but this is the postseason now. You've pitched in the postseason. You've been, you've thrown in some really big games, not just even since you've been back, but go out there and shove today. And if he can actually set the tone for the whole weekend, good or bad. We know what could happen bad is if, you're putting guys on base, but if he comes out and has a really good game, it doesn't have to be perfect. If he comes out and pitches a really good game, then it could really set you up for the rest of the weekend. I think this team needs to be set up as best they can for Saturday and beyond. They just, that's their formula. That's what they have to do.
I just think they need length out of Sadeo more than anything. I'd feel okay with 4 or 5 runs through 5 or 6 innings out of Sadeo, but
but at the same time, I don't, A&M, you'd be assuming that the Aggies would be
scoring,
8 or 9 to feel good about that. Otherwise, you're going that 4 or 5, and you're either tied or right there with them or trailing. You definitely don't want. I think he needs to be really good in terms of not giving up runs. And I don't even length. I'm with you. That would be amazing. But if he went 4 innings, but pitched well enough to where the Aggies had a little breathing room, then it would allow Early and Kelly to kind of, replace him accordingly. Use the bullpen accordingly. That's his, I think, primary task or the base level task today.
Yeah, I totally agree with you with it. It feels like his start is such a big momentum changer for how things may go for the weekend.
But I like the idea of it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, everybody says it's a bad idea. But I like the idea of it. Just from a mental standpoint, he should be able to go out there and be.
I brought this up earlier, but it feels like to me, we talk so much about all the, they're going to have to figure it out game by game. But isn't that kind of what, with this pitching staff, Coach Early has kind of had to do all year, all season long in the SEC?
Well, every weekend. And if you look at the Auburn series, you get blown out in game 1. You look at, I saw a tweet from someone the other day. I saw it yesterday. Somebody sent it to me. One of these characters on Twitter that just play someone on there that they're not in real life. It's like some kind of outlet or I don't know if it makes them feel a little more confident or better about themselves, just being a complete ass on that app. But the guy kind of was saying, using that after game 1 against Mississippi State, is like how miserable it is to be an Aggie, and this is what happens, and it's like, you look back and you go, yeah, you did all of that, and we won that series. Won the series. But you did get blown out in that one. You got blown out in game 1 against Auburn. You lost game 1 against Florida. But particularly like Ole Miss and Mississippi State, those weekends, you really had to kind of figure it out. And they won 1, lost 1. They were a run away from winning that Ole Miss one. Same thing against Auburn with the way that went. You had to adjust, and they Auburn's an elite team. Mississippi State is a regional host. Okay, and like you said, it's really been all year, even with Sims, because you're trying to figure out Friday and Sunday. So yeah, they are used to that, and I think that'll be an advantage of just that the coaches and the team understands that, like, hey, whether it's a regional or a super regional, if it's not going well, we can figure out our way out of this. But yeah, and the bats have to. We have to look back on this weekend and say, man, the bats really came alive.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they've been sleeping. They've been facing some really good pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know they were bad. They were fundamentally, like, their approach was bad in Hoover. They also faced a great pitcher. Some of these games, like, you're playing two of the best pitchers in the SEC against Auburn. You're facing one of the best in the SEC against Mississippi State. You're facing arguably the best in the SEC against Florida. Ole Miss, their starting rotation had been really good.
Mm-hmm.
You've been facing some damn good pitching. Ruger Riojas. But in a lot of those games, if you look at how many runs A&M scored, Riojas, they had like 8.
Mm-hmm.
In game 2 against Auburn, I don't know what they scored. It was 4-3 or 5-4, but they figured it out and won that game. Their score, game 2 against Ole Miss, that pitcher was red hot coming into that game, and how many runs was that?
18.
18. So they can. It's not that they've been like not hitting well, Hoover notwithstanding.
Mm-hmm.
It's that they've been facing really good pitching, and in a lot of those instances, the really good hitting won out. And that's what's going to have to happen. It might not look like 11 runs, like they were scoring against Mississippi State. I hope it is. But if it's 7 or 8, even though we can say all we want about A&M's pitching, I think if they're scoring 7 or 8, they're going to have a great chance to win games in this region.
Mm-hmm.
No matter who they're playing.
How much better do you feel about that, knowing Nico Partita is back full go in the lineup?
Man, I thought him coming back is massive, just from the standpoint of his bat, what it does in terms of the trickle-down effect in the lineup,
mm-hmm.
putting his bat right there, I'm assuming he'll hit cleanup. I'm thinking. I don't know if he put a lineup out yet. I'm assuming cleanup. And then, but to have him right in the middle of that, and it pushes kind of everything down. It pushes, I don't know what bat it pushes. I guess it pushes, I'm thinking, does it push Bender up, out?
Depends on what they do in left field, but probably going to be Dewar, so it'd be Bender up most likely.
So, I mean, and I love what Bender up started to do.
Yeah,
but
he's caught fire.
And if he has to play, he will play this weekend. He'll probably do something. But it just, Partita's bat, right? It makes that heart of the order so much more dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get better at third base and you get better at first base.
Yep.
Gavin's been so great at first, and Partita's a third baseman.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a huge impact to get him. And now, because of those injuries and because of your depth, you probably have, Royo. So you have that lineup that was your best lineup all year, but you also have Royo, who's been really hitting. So now you look at it and you go, okay, shoot, this lineup could be better than anything we've seen all year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's exciting. That's part of it that I don't think people are talking about enough. By people, I mean people outside of College Station.
Absolutely. I want to get your thoughts on this as well. Just first time Coach Early getting a chance to coach in the postseason.
Yeah.
Act as the head coach. So I guess just where's your confidence level in him going into this weekend?
I'm good. Like, I'm confident in him. He's second year on the job here. And I think he's made, like you said earlier, I don't think people are giving him credit for some of the. I know, like, to me, this would sound like excuses if you weren't good this year. And I don't understand this narrative of people thinking like this team hasn't had a great year to date.
Yeah.
I know you judge a team on how far they advance and what, but like to act like this team has not had a great year to date, it's so weird to me in the fan psychology. And all it is it's in their heads. It's creating dread.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's creating dread and doom and gloom thoughts because your team it's been good, and you've got this one big weakness that you fear, and everybody knows that. Like I said before the season, when it ultimately catches up to them, it'll probably be because of pitching, or early in the season I said that because you started to have injuries. But, like, it's not an excuse when your team's been really good. And my thing is this. Your team has they lost their closer a weekend, who is, last time we saw him really, he was an ace in Omaha.
Yep.
He was untouchable almost in Omaha in the College World Series against the best teams in the country several times. You lost Caden McCoy before the season, who was really going to factor in. He was going to be a big part of it. And then you've lost your best pitcher in Aiden Sims for the last couple of weeks. And the reality is he was fighting through, arm pain prior. That's why he came out as early as he did against, who was it, Ole Miss or?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ole Miss. So that's 3. But the other guy that people forget is you had a true freshman in this class that Mike Early told me specifically a year ago at this time when the season was ending, and he told me again before fall, that there's Ramirez, okay, had a great chance to be a weekend starter from day one and then work up from there. They thought, and he thought he would have the quickest impact and the most significant impact to any freshman in this class. Think about that. He knew what Nico Partita is. He knew Jorian Wilson's potential. He knew Boston Kellner, and he said, I think he'd have the biggest. So that injury was people didn't realize it at the time, but you lost a starter.
Yeah.
And one that I think USA Baseball had him and the guy at Tennessee as the two most, what they thought were going to be the two most impactful freshman pitchers in the country this year. So you lost a lot of that pitching staff. And nobody wants to hear it, but we can talk about it now because they overcame it to have a great regular season. They finished 3rd in the SEC. Who's to say they wouldn't have been 2nd had they played Texas?
Mm-hmm.
They're playing them at home after beating them back-to-back. Everyone, if you can take away your negative thoughts and remember how you felt that day, it was like Volantis who? They didn't care.
Yeah.
Everybody thought they were going to the park to see A&M win that game. So did that team.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't have to. But my point is, you get that game back, you could have won it, and you'd be in 2nd place. As it stood, they were game out of 2nd and 3rd. They were picked 13th. It was a great season. But like you said, Michael Early has been, I think, managing this team really exceptionally well this year.
Noticeably different.
Noticeably different. Mentally. And you say noticeably different, and I say yes, but I also say we're still forgetting how they finished the year last year.
Mm-hmm.
That Missouri series was just inexplicable, but it was like the other 6 weeks of the last 7 weeks of the season, they were a different ball club.
Yep.
And they were done. But I think he's done a great job because it's not just been those injuries.
Mm-hmm.
It's been Hakopian's injuries, and how do we adjust to that? And then it's been, Partita goes down. Then it's been Kellner gets hit. There's been a lot that have caused them to shape and move lineups a lot, and guys have come off the bench that haven't played very much that have contributed to significant wins, like Binderup, obviously Royo, Sawyer Farr, like these guys. He's done. That's managerial too, where your guys don't quit and they get called up to play and they're ready to play. Terrence Keel, against Mississippi State, he hadn't played much in a few weeks, couple weeks, and he comes in and contributes right away. So like it's those. That's managing too. It's your team. How do your guys on the bench come up? Are they just pissed off? Okay, you're calling on me now. Okay, whatever. No. That's not how they're responding. He's done a great job with this team, and I think that'll continue.
Absolutely. Let's hit a break here, Billy. On the other side, we'll get into more baseball, maybe some Aggie football, all that and more. You're listening to TexAgs Live, presented by David Garner's Jewelers. Welcome back in. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Billy Liucci with me. We got Reese Nygren at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. We got a text for you, Billy.
Yeah, Tom St. Martin texted in. He said, I normally love Billy's takes, but I have to totally disagree. They need at least 6 or 7 quality innings of length out of Shane Sadeo today, even if he gives up runs. There are only about 4 reliable arms on that whole staff right now, and they need all those arms for the winner's bracket.
No, I don't disagree with him. I mean, he totally disagrees with me. I don't disagree with him. I appreciate him normally agreeing with me, but on this one, I get it. Like I understand. I want length out of the starting pitching this weekend too. Obviously, it's the formula to win. I just think if there's another side factor to that, it's the Aggie bats. My point of saying that is if he gets 4 innings and the Aggies get off to a good start at the plate, that's also okay. That's fine. In fact, that's plenty workable because you can work your pitching staff that way as well. And there is Sunday baseball to play regardless also. So they can pitch guys and see how long they can go. Now why am I forgetting coming out of the bullpen against Mississippi State, who did such a great job for 2 innings?
Cooper Powell.
Cooper Powell comes in. Like, it could be a game where you can bring Cooper Powell in. It could be a game where maybe it is Lions for 2 innings. You know, if Sadeo goes 4, if you get Lions through the 6th, and Cooper Powell in the 7th, and then, you try to piecemeal it together. But if you're playing with a lead, then it's fine. Like, and I mean a lead more than a couple runs, a crooked number, let's say. But even though 2 is crooked, Reese, I understand that. But more than 2 runs, and just where you can come in and bring somebody in and just see how long they can go before they get base runners. Mm-hmm. And my point is, you can be okay with Sadeo if he just got to get you to that bullpen with a lead. So it's not just Shane. The bats have to come out and hit a quality pitcher pretty early. Because I'm going to tell you what, if Sadeo gets you through 6 innings and you're locked in a 3-2 game, you're going to use Lions and fresh corn, which is the point, I think, of the texter. Like, we don't want to have to do that. I think if you have to use Lions, but it's just for like a 2-inning capacity, you can use him again the next day. You can use him again, obviously, on Sunday if he doesn't pitch Saturday. So you don't have to burn. It's not a rule that if one of these guys comes in and throws 30 pitches, he's done for the weekend, not even the next day. So, yeah, I know what ideal looks like, and we all want to see that. But I'm saying even if the offense comes to play, shows up today at the plate, if he can get you to that bullpen and get you like halfway through the game with a decent lead, then he's done a great job.
Absolutely. Do you like that they chose to play the early game here on Friday? And we'll play, if they win, they will play the 8 o'clock, I think, game on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I understand both sides. I mean, you want to get done, get rested, but you're also playing in the heat. You're also playing with less of a home field advantage to your crowd. But I also understand, like, you're playing the 4 seed, see if you can handle business, and then let the 2 and 3 hopefully slug it out in like a really tight, tense game, into the night. They don't get to bed, or just, I don't know, not get to bed early. It's not like the A&M players are going to go home and drink a warm glass of milk and go to bed, but you know what I mean. I do think there's advantage to what they're doing.
Absolutely. We'll hit a break here, Billy, on the other side. Get into some football talk just a little bit before we get our final thoughts on the Lamar Texas A&M Regional Game 1 here in the College Station Regional. You're listening to TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner Jewelers.
Howdy, Ags. This is Texas A&M quarterback Marcel Reed, and you're listening to TexAgs Live on the Zone, 11:50 a.m. and 93.7 FM.
Marcel Reed bringing us back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Garner's Jewelers here inside the Rollo Insurance Studio. Billy Liucci with me here, TexAgs co-owner and executive editor. And Billy, big recruiting weekend across the street at Kyle Field. A lot of visitors expected. So just some of the latest things you're tracking to go with that.
Yeah, no, I love this. First of all, we'll track any surprise visitors, and I think those will primarily be coming from your committed ranks, like people just making their way to town to help the cause, so to speak. But any additional visitors, there'll be Howell and Brawny and Howell, Browell, Howlinger will be all over this throughout the weekend. Right now, you obviously they got some big time commits coming in. First of all, we've got that list out. But of the targets, obviously the ones that are like of real particular interest to me are Eric McFarland, wide receiver. I think 5-star wide receiver, and I think that's A&M's best chance to add another big time 5-star talent to this class. Like either you're going to see it in McFarland, in my opinion, or at the cornerback level. And one of those guys will be in this weekend, in John Meredith. Obviously, he's one of the two out there that the Aggies are trying to close out this terrific defensive back class with. And Meredith's coming in. That's an A&M Texas battle. Texas has obviously surged of late, but I do think A&M was his first love, and I do think him coming this weekend, he's already here on campus, you have a chance to kind of remind him and his family of that. So Meredith is one to certainly watch. Aston Whiteside's a guy that loves A&M, linebacker that I think the Aggies like a hell of a lot more than the rankings would show. And he's right now, what is it? A&M, Kentucky, and I forget his Miami, his third finalist. Fred Ards is a guy I love, and that's a guy that A&M's put a lot of work in on and out of Florida, edge rusher. And man, I'll tell you, if there's one more guy out of Florida that we're talking about today, I could see another one or two popping up. But as we're talking about today, that's the guy I would love to see A&M close on, because I think he fits need wise, and I think it'd be a great cap to your D-line class, unless they want to add an extra interior body, like a third, from a number standpoint. But those guys, and then Albert Simeon is obviously really interesting. They've got the 2 5-star tackles. He's a 5-star interior guy, and the Aggies are very much in the mix there. And that, obviously, if you were to add either he or Kamara and have 3 5-star linemen in the same class, it's a wrap. Best class in the country, arguably the best A&M O-line class ever. So that one will be really interesting as well with him on campus. So Notre Dame's a big player there. Really it's a great group. I know one of the committeds is coming unofficially too is Jaquan Snell, who is one of my favorite players in the class, and Texas and others just continue to try to hammer on him. So it'd be another good weekend to get him in, because he's a guy that the Aggies love, and he seems pretty locked in right now. But it's an important weekend, but it's also a weekend with a tremendous amount of opportunity.
Absolutely. Billy, I know you were wanting me to get into this as well. You've been keeping an eye on the Texas back and forth. Joey McGuire says he's called Abilene Christian and Texas State in efforts to schedule Texas after Sark took a shot at their schedule.
I think this is so silly. I understand what I understand what he's doing. I don't like it. It's fake. First of all, I think Texas would kick Tech's ass. They don't have to prove it. They're playing Ohio State. You're going to want to play Texas Tech at a neutral site or in Lubbock the week before you play Ohio State? It makes zero sense. It's silly. Anyone that doesn't realize that and starts talking about it, you're just trying to fall for the WWE hype, the UFC hype, the build-up, the smack talking. You're getting caught in that and not realizing, why on earth would Texas do that? you want to play Texas, you want to play A&M, get in the playoff and hope that they get there and hope that you get matched up with them and hope you've played well enough to get one of them at home or get one of them in the Cotton Bowl with, somewhere with a split crowd. Like, you hope they get there. And if they don't, then you can talk smack and say, hey, we've been 2 years in a row. Where are you guys at? Texas, you hadn't been there in 2 years. We don't want to play you. You're not good enough to play us. A&M, we went back. You couldn't go. Right now, I just think this is so performative, and it's a no-lose situation for them. They know Texas isn't going to play that game. They know I don't care if you're saying you're going to buy out. The fact that Joey McGuire contacted ACU and Texas State is a little bit weird to me.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you saw it. Cody Campbell also tweeted out that he'd buy out
he'd buy it out. Yeah. It's just none of this makes. I get hey, Texas kind of Sark called them out, called out their schedule. There's still some people that think he said they could beat Tech with the 2s and 3s, which is not at all what he said. But it was a call out of the schedule. I actually agreed with him on that. It's ridiculous. So yeah, Tech. I don't believe Tech is scared to play Texas. They don't have to do all this to make me think they're not scared. I believe they'd love the opportunity to play Texas. And you know why? Because they got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't they want to play Texas? If they win the game or even play a super competitive game and look like they're just perfectly on their level, it's a tremendous benefit to Tech. If they lose that game and run through the easiest schedule of any playoff contender in the country, and I think most of the Tech fans wouldn't even argue that. That's not what they're arguing. They're arguing that, hey, nobody will play us. Nobody will play you via a Twitter call out, via a podium call out with some wild expectation that you're going to change up a schedule. And I know they're saying, well, we'll do it. Why won't they? Why would they?
Yeah.
Why would they? Why would they play that game with the schedule they've got, the 9-game SEC schedule in Ohio State? I'm sure if the roles were flipped, Steve Sarkisian would love to play Texas Tech, a ranked team that they probably know they beat, or they believe that anyway, that doesn't even have a quarterback at this point that they know is going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course he'd say, yeah, I'll play that game because all it can do is help us. Right now, it would be crazy to add Texas Tech to that. And Tech knows it, and they're doing this, and it just feels it's kind of fitting that they're doing this. They're turning this thing into like a performative show on
Mm-hmm.
social media at this point. And if the two teams played, I'd be great to see Tech win that game.
Yeah.
I'd be great to see them lose to Ohio State and Tech and go, wow, look at this. Like, Texas is in trouble before conference play even starts.
Mm-hmm.
Then I don't have to hear from them
Yeah.
for a while. So, but I'm going to just be honest on which side I'm on this thing. I think it's ridiculous what Tech's doing. And I think, again, you can say all you want. You know it's not going to happen. And there are some people in media that are either naive enough or they just don't care. And they're like, oh, this is great theater and great drama in the offseason. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just going to talk about it. And they're going to say, well, why doesn't Texas do it? Well, you know why. We all know why.
Yeah, Tech has the two
And Joey
ranked
McGuire
opponents.
knows why.
2 ranked opponents on their schedule as of right now. That'll change, obviously, but
Yeah.
they got Arizona State and TCU, both at home, by the way. So, and toughest road team, I guess Oklahoma
where are
State.
those teams going to be ranked? 20
Exactly.
to 25 range?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I agree with you, Billy. Nothing to lose for them there, and that's why they're running their mouths.
That's it.
Before we hit our final break, any takeaways from the SEC spring meetings, 24 to 16 team playoff, the Protect College Sports Act? Anything catch your attention coming out of that?
Yeah, a lot of it. The Protect College Sports Act, there's so much to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's some I like. There's some I don't like. If you want to go through some of that.
So that was
I like the 5-year eligibility.
Yep. Limiting athletes to transferring schools only one time without penalty.
Yeah.
Prohibiting former professional athletes from playing in college. Prohibiting schools from poaching a coach from another school during their sports season. some of the main points.
I like the top three. The bottom one, I don't know how I feel about it. So that school's got to wait and then lose out on recruits too. Like somebody's suffering from that either way. The top three I like, but again, if these things like an act isn't going to make them have to, it's just like what's going to get these ideas across the finish line? Who needs to be at play? Who needs to agree to it? Who, it's up to the NCAA to get this right. And it feels like it's their last chance to truly get it right. I've been really interested I was really interested in everything Coach Elko said. He said it on here. He said, just things like the playoff, like the portal window, like the rosters, like you're going to be going over 50 million and then you're going to be going over 60 million. And we've said this forever, it's not sustainable. So that's an ongoing issue, fear, and concern, I think, for everybody.
You say last chance for the NCAA to get it right. What do you think happens if they don't get it right this time around?
I just think it's just that the sport can't handle more just drifting in the wind, chaos, confusion, uncertainty, everybody kind of doing their own thing. It's going to ultimately lead to like the SEC breaking off and trying to poach everyone into this other, or the SEC and the Big Ten just saying, hey, let's just do this. And all of it, none of it's good. None of it's good. And there just needs to be some type of, and I know that everybody's trying to do that to some degree, but everyone's also looking out for their best interests because they're going, until that happens, we got to survive and thrive.
Yep.
And to survive and thrive, it's not going to be, it's kind of still every man for himself. And I think that's also what Elko was talking about. We're all worried about ourselves, not worried about, give everybody some rules and regulations and then punish those that aren't following them. And then once you do that, then it's more about, okay, we're not going to screw up, but you guys got to do something about the ones that are so we can all fall, into space.
Absolutely. One more segment on the other side. We'll preview Lamar and Texas A&M one final time and send you or get you ready for that ball game over at Bluebell Park. You're listening to TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner Jewelers. Final segment of the program here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Billy Liucci with me here. And Billy, let's close it out previewing what's going to go down here in just a few hours over at Bluebell Park. Asked the baseball bunch this, but I want to get your take. Give me a pitcher and a hitter, maybe a few, that you're thinking going to have a really good weekend.
Pitching wise, I'm going to go with Fresh Corn. I think this could be one of those weekends where he comes up big twice, not once, but twice. You know, like a multi-inning save situation or win situation. 3 innings, you know, at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's tonight, which wouldn't be ideal, but maybe it's Saturday and Monday. Maybe it's 2 innings Saturday, you know, in a clutch situation, and 3 on Sunday, or vice versa. So I'm going to go with Fresh Corn. He's been the stud all year, along with Sims, but I'm a little iffy on Sims because of the extended absence. I'll go with Fresh Corn, and then at the plate, you know, it's always easy to go Gavin and Caden, and I expect, I'm almost just going to say them because you expect them to bring it. They're veterans. They're MLB bound, MLB draft bound veterans. Yeah. Gavin's been amazing this year. Caden's been incredible. But I think it's almost like we expect that, right? I did this a couple weekends ago. I'm going to go Bear Harrison. I just like the way he's been playing. I like the way he's been hitting. His ability to get on base. He's a veteran. I trust him in the clutch. I think I picked him in the Mississippi State series. He came up with a huge hit. Wasn't the only thing he did, but he came up with a huge hit in Game 3. I just like where he's at mentally right now. He seems dialed in, and you know, again, I think he's one of these veteran team leader guys, and he's not going to get talked about as much as Hakopian and Gavin and Caden, but I think he's a guy that I'll pick for this weekend. And a California guy that if he gets a crack at USC, hopefully can make it happen.
About 2 minutes left here, Billy. Just, I guess, final thoughts. Best case scenario for today, obviously a win, obviously a perfect game for Shane Tadeo, but just kind of realistic best case scenario that you see out at Olsen Field today.
I think obviously that would be A&M jumping out early and not making this a stressful situation for Mike Early, in terms of who he's going to pull out of that bullpen and how to manage, you know, what you don't want to become a long, you know, later inning type of game. I mean, that's optimal. Rarely do things go optimally in the postseason anywhere. We see 4 seeds beat 1 seeds all the time. We see 1 seeds struggle with 4 seeds all the time. Every one of us have watched on opening weekend of a regional, and you're going, oh, damn! You see the LSU score? Did you see, you know, whoever? And usually the 1 seed's going to win that game, but every year, probably half of the 1 seeds seem to be in a dogfight or struggle in the 5th, 6th inning. And then some of them, not some, but a few of them time to time do lose those games. So, yeah, I mean, it is a scary experience for everybody in game 1 of a regional, of your own regional as the 1 seed, because these teams are more than capable of winning a one-off game when they throw their best pitcher. And that's exactly what Lamar's going to do. So I think it's a tall order tonight in terms of not just for A&M, but for any team 1 to 16 that's hosting a team with a really good pitcher as the 4. And that's what the Aggies are going to be facing with Olivier.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, Billy.
All right. Good job, Nick.
Yeah, thank you. Enjoy your day out at Bluebell Park. Thank you to Reese, Cade, running the 1s and 2s, Ashley, the assistant director, Kayla, Diego in the back, and everyone who joined me today. Scott Clendenin, Ryan Brauninger, Richard Zane, and Olin Buchanan, fresh off his trip to Florida. So,
shout out Kate Higley also. You just left her out of the shout outs. That was rude.
Thank you so much for listening. We hope you tune in back on Monday. Bronny will be in the host chair to recap everything that goes on over at Olsen Field, and maybe there's a game on Monday to talk about, but hopefully not. So we'll see you then. Thank you so much. This has been TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.